This is a pretty simple mod for Stalker Anomaly, and was built on top of Gamma, but it was intended to be compatible with hopefully pretty much anything. And all it really does is add 3 new items to the loot table, basically broken variants of night vision devices. You can see some in the player's inventory. And these are now added to the crafting recipe for each tier of night vision. So to craft a Gen 1 night vision, you need a certain number of these broken Gen 1 devices. Same for tier 2, same for tier 3. And part of the idea here is that crafting night vision should feel a bit more thematic, rather than just putting a bunch of capacitors and wires on a head torch. You're instead scavenging these devices which maybe were damaged when you killed their previous owners, and then cannibalizing a working device out of all the broken parts you find. And the idea is that higher ranking enemies are more likely to be carrying these, and they're intended to be quite rare. So it's to encourage you to go looking for, like I said, higher ranked, more experienced enemies, particularly enemies of fairly high-tech factions. So Monolith and UNISG have the highest drop chances. So it's to encourage that kind of roaming around, finding risky fights and so on, and then adding an item to the loot table that rewards that kind of gameplay. These devices can obviously be used to craft night vision, but they're also quite valuable on their own. I think I have them at about 50% of the value of a working night vision device. There is a very small script attached, which basically compares the rank and faction of an enemy when you kill them, and make sure they only drop 1 device at most. So yeah, it's experimental. I try to balance it towards being fairly rare, but people's playstyles are so different, you can't account for which faction people will play as, or where they're going to go and who they're going to be hunting. So I don't know if I got the balance completely correct, but it's a first pass. And based on feedback, I'll probably try and tune the drop rates a little bit. So yeah, enjoy.